Good afternoon. One of the debates on online right now is whether or not EPS or XPS absorbs more moisture over time and loses more of its R value. So we're going to set up a test and let it run for approximately 6 months. The material on the far left is a foam glass that I'll also be testing. But the main test will be between the white EPS panels and the pink XPS panels to find out over time which one absorbs more moisture and loses more of its thermal resistance. This is a hole that's approximately 4 feet deep. It's going to be a hole that sees regular water, as just on the other side of in here will be a pond that will be kept full of water. So this will see lots of groundwater, and we'll dig it up in 6 months' time and see how they perform. I've also got 3 of each EPS and XPS that I'll have submerged in water. Another 3 of each that'll be in a Ziploc bag, airtight bag, and another 3 of each that'll just be placed on a shelf in the house, kept dry, warm, and out of the sun. Okay, so this is the beginning, and look for results in about 6 months.
Good morning. It's, I don't know, March 26th, I think. And it's time to dig up the XPS and EPS samples that I've had below grade for, I guess, about 5 months. They're going to go off to BCIT for hot plate testing, and we're going to determine which ones absorb more moisture, more water, by weighing them prior to taking them to BCIT. Anyway, they have been in a fairly wet environment. There's been a fish pond. The water's just been shut off, so the water level's a little bit lower now, but the samples are below this existing water level. And so they've had a good opportunity to have repeated wettings, and we'll see how they've performed. Makes it a lot easier when you have machinery. You can see that they've definitely had an opportunity for wetting. This is not unlike what a basement slab would see in a wet environment. I can tell you right away, the EPS has absorbed a lot more moisture than the XPS. The EPS is quite heavy and dense. The XPS is, you can see the difference. So the XPS is definitely a better choice. What I'll do is I'll give these a quick rinse off. There's quite a difference between the EPS that was right in the bottom where it was getting regular water and the EPS that was up the bank a bit. This one is a lot lighter than the first two. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to test these. They're fairly light, which would be expected because they don't really have a capacity to absorb water. They drain so quickly. But they don't come in sizes that are large enough to really be effective for subslab insulation. You'd end up with hundreds of seams throughout the system, and you'd have a lot of thermal bridging. They're also very fragile. You can see that they crack quite easily. So because of that, and because they get damaged so easily, it's going to be very hard to have flush seams. You're always going to have little bits and pieces that are broken off that'll create a lot of thermal bridging. So I'm sorry to the manufacturer who wanted me to test these. I think I'm just going to say forget it. Yeah, this is in multiple pieces, and I actually didn't hit it with the tractor. I think just the weight of the soil on top of it cracked it to bits. So there's another reason. I just don't think it's durable for a residential setting. Yes, in a commercial setting, it might be possible to have enough money to treat it properly, but in a residential setting, this stuff's going to get beat to smithereens. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to go inside and weigh them up, and then bag them up so that they retain their moisture. Okay, I've finished weighing up all of the samples, and the results are quite striking. The 3 XPS samples, I started at a weight of 130 grams per sample, and they came out of the hole at 173, 158, and 180 grams. The EPS samples, they started at 133 for 2 of them and 139 for 1 of them. I guess that one was a little bit denser grams. They came out of the hole at 511, 447, and 494. So there is absolutely no question that EPS absorbs a lot more moisture than XPS. And therefore, I mean, we haven't even done the hot box testing at BCIT yet, but it's pretty obvious that the EPS will perform poorly for thermal resistance if it's saturated. Some of you might be arguing that this isn't a realistic test, that it's not going to get that wet below a foundation, but in wet regions this is totally plausible. So I pretty much made up my mind before I even get the thermal testing that XPS is more appropriate for a high-performance home for below slab insulation. Okay, I'll be posting all of these results on my blog as well as all the hot box testing. So thanks for visiting.